Good evening, Fernwood. It is your artful observer, Neil, and it's time for us to appreciate another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. We are watching today episode 243 from March 9th, 1977. I think we can do our recap. In the break room at the factory, Vernon, Bales, and Tex reminded us of their white supremacist agenda with the GGG. Tex is getting antsy and he wants to plant some dynamite somewhere. He wants to blow up the television station because they've been playing the miniseries Roots. And Vernon gently discourages him because their priority is gaining new membership, but maybe they'll blow up the station at some point. Back home in Mary's kitchen, Loretta was venting about how much attention Charlie is not paying to her since he's spending so much time with their friend Mac. Loretta would like to be the only thing on Charlie's mind, and to that, Mary comes up with the idea of pairing Mac up with a lady. Mary and Loretta go through a list of all of the women that they know in town, and they set up to introduce Mac to Merl and Wanda's maid, Lila. Next door at the Shumways, Martha is practicing for her new job at the Capri Lounge. She's having trouble keeping the orders straight, so George gives her a bartender recipe book. Mary shows up and asks Martha if she had borrowed Tom's basketball trophy, and Martha gets visibly uncomfortable and makes a beeline for another room to get dressed. When they're alone, Mary confronts George with Martha's kleptomania, and George completely denies that that can be a possibility. And Martha comes in and Mary's suspicious about the coat that she's wearing, but then George and Martha head off to work. Mary searches Martha's hiding spot and considers stealing back all of the things, but opts against that. Then at the Capri Lounge, Loretta is waiting for folks to arrive so she can enact her plan. She runs into Martha, who tells her about two guys who wanted to pick her up. Then the fellas arrive and it is a tight squeeze in the booth, and Lila gets there and everyone rearranges so that Lila can sit next to Mac, and Charlie notes that he lost his seat. Mac and Lila are left behind as the other guys go off to bowl some frames, and Loretta sets to sow the seeds of love, but it appears that the soil is dry. There is no interest between Lila and Mac, and in fact, Lila seems more interested in Tex. Then at the Jeter residence, Wanda and Merl are getting back home after a meeting, starting to feel a little bit amorous. They enter the room to find that Lila has moved all of her things into their home and has started redecorating. When Merle's temper flares just a little bit, Lila seems surprised that they wouldn't want her to live there. And Merle blames Wanda for leaving incriminating evidence in her diary. It seems like Merle is very angry about what's going on, though he holds back because of the potential blackmail, and Wanda just dances her way around the rubble. And everyone, that was yesterday's episode. Let's start a new one.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Oh, Bobby, I'll be quite honest with you. I've had other girls in my life, but never one like you that I could call my own.
What do you mean, to call your own?
Well, you know, we're living together. You're mine, aren't you?
Raymond, I don't want to belong to anybody. I'm a now person. I have to have my freedom.
Freedom? To do what?
Well, for one thing, go out when I want to.
Without me?
If I feel like it.
You're not thinking of, you know.
Oh, Raymond, I just don't want to account to anybody.
Love me or leave me. If you want to stay with me, you got to be true to me.
Ooh, when you say it like that, how can I say no?
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
What is it, George? You want something?
Yeah. I would like to have a little attention from somebody in this house. I feel like an invisible man. You two rabbits don't even seem to know I'm alive. Kathy's moved out. Martha's a bartender. And tonight there's a big party at the Hartman house. And I'm not invited, if you can imagine that.
We're not invited, but we don't give a hoot.
Become a stranger in my own house. Yeah, but you don't care. Nobody cares. Well, I care.
Oh, George,
Yeah?
don't be a stranger.
Go eat your wheat germ.
Da 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 da. La da da dee. Da 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 da. Oh, George, what a nice surprise. But I won't be able to talk to you because I'm too busy.
Why? I thought bartenders were supposed to talk to the customers.
Then you have to buy a drink.
Well, give me a whatever.
Okay. How about a martini? There you are. Whoops. So, George, what do you want to talk about?
What every American man has the right to talk to his bartender about. His troubles.
Troubles? Oh, George, what troubles?
Well, I'm lonesome, damn it. I got nobody to talk to anymore. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm a communist or a leper or a queer or something. I mean, I don't even have a wife at home to fight with when I get back now that you got this job.
Ooh.
God, you won't have that job long if you make drinks like that.
Give me an end of the world.
Oh, George, I get to use my end of the world glass. Wait till you see this. Look. Look at that.
Oh, Martha, I feel like I'm disconnected from the whole world. Do you realize that the plant, practically the whole plant, is over at that big party at Mary's tonight? And I'm not invited? Me, her own father. The only one I got left is you, Martha.
George, I just cannot listen to all that and make this drink too. It is just too confusing. Maybe you just better leave, huh?
Oh, boy. That cuts it. That cuts it. I was hanging on to a thread, Martha. A loose, flimsy thread, and now you've done it, Martha. That's it for me. I'm sinking, Martha. I'm sinking fast. I'm not even going to beg you to talk to me.
Oh, now let me see. Did I put any brandy in there?
Martha, you don't ask a sinking man if you put brandy in.
All right. It's again. Well, you see this. Mm-hmm. One end of the world. Come on up. Here you are, sir.
My God.
Oh, yes. Allow me. There you are. Don't you want your drink?
Yes, and my lighter, too.
What?
My lighter, you put it in your pocket.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I'll see you right back. I was wondering, am I going to get my lighter back?
Oh, do you need a light? Because I have lots of matches here and just help yourself. There. Have all you want.
It cost me $5.
$5? Oh, do you need $5? Because I always think that people should get what they need. You just wait right here. Here we are, here, and use it in good health.
Do you know this lady here?
Huh? Oh, no. Martha! Put this $5 in that cash register.
What would you like to have for it, George?
I just want to keep people out of jail. Will you put it in there?
But George, do you owe it to the Capri Lounge?
Will you put the $5 in the cash register, Martha?
Well, okay, but I really don't understand. The Capri Lounge is much better off than you are. Honestly, that man, he's just generous to a fault. Da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Ah! Oh, Lila. What the hell are you doing here?
You are cheats. Cheats! Dirty cheats!
Lila, what are you talking about?
I told you could sleep together, but you had to be 5 fists apart. And you were only 4 fists apart. You cheats! Cheats!
Oh, Lila, decency. Have some common decency, for God's sake.
I tried to be nice. I let you use the bed, and then you turn out to be dirty cheaters.
Lila, listen, I think there should be
After
certain...
all we meant to each other.
Look, Lila, all of that is over now.
For you, maybe. But what about me? How can I ever forget what I used to mean to you? In the words of your very own diary, Wanda's diary, limp and lovely Lila, lying loosely, limb by limb.
Shut up, you unnatural heathen!
I went to Bible school for years.
I don't care about Bible school. You're a witch. You're both witches. I'm surrounded by witches.
Easy, sweetness. You drove me to her arms, remember? All right, Lila, what is it you want?
Well, right now I already have it.
No, Lila, you don't seem to understand. Things can't go on like this.
Who says?
Look, Lila, it's been wonderful of you not to have shown the diary to anyone. And, well, Merl and I really appreciate that, don't we, Merl?
Right.
But, Lila, don't you see, you'd be a much happier person if you got into a sensible relationship. Now,
Right.
haven't you ever wanted somebody all to yourself? Somebody of your very own?
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, that's really a nice idea.
I thought you'd like it.
So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to close my eyes, okay?
Yeah.
And then when I open them, one of you is going to be gone, and one of you is going to be here, okay? Okay, I'm going to close my eyes now. I said one of you was going to be here.
Hi, Merle.
George, how are you?
I'm fine. You're not in bed, are you?
No, not at all. How you doing there?
Oh, just fine. I was walking by and I saw through the window your light was on, so I thought I'd just drop in.
Yeah. Why, George?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because, there you go.
Little bear.
I was thinking as I was ringing the doorbell that,
Snake.
Oh. Well, you sure got a long one.
Yeah, he's a big one, all right.
Yeah. Well, as I was telling you, it is funny that you said that because I was feeling the same way because I never thought that we had a single thing in common.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, I think you're right there, George.
Yeah?
No, I think you did right on that one. It's a funny thing, George, but this particular kind of thing does happen to me from time to time in my life, and I don't know, somehow I always kind of feel like it's a gift that I've been given. Like right now, for instance, it's a gift that you and I both are sharing at this moment. The gift that we realize that what we share is that We don't share anything at all. You know what I mean there?
Oh, God, I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think we got something else that we got in common, too.
What's that?
Do you realize that we're the only two men in this entire town that's not invited to the big party tonight?
What party's that?
My daughter Mary's party.
Yeah. Tonight, Mary's having a party night, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. The whole town's invited, except for two people. Merl Jeter, George Shumway. And you're the mayor?
You're the father.
Yeah.
George, listen, I want to tell you something here, and I hope you take it the right way. I think you will. No, listen, I'm serious about this. I remember the first time I laid eyes on you. You know what? I said to myself, there's a bozo. I knew you'd take it right. Well, that makes two of us, right? You know what?
That sure as hell does.
Yeah. You know, what I was thinking, George,
Yeah.
just in a situation like this, to me, what we ought to do to counter the whole darn thing is just, maybe have our own little party, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Maybe have a couple of beers, maybe have more than a couple of beers, sing some songs, tell a few stories, and reminisce about all the good times we never had together,
You know something? And that would give me a chance. It'd give me a good chance to thank you for not having my home foreclosed on.
No, George, don't do that. Don't ever mention that to me again. I mean it. That was my pleasure. But I won't talk about this party now. Listen, sometime soon, let's get together. We'll start lunch and then we'll go from there, huh?
You damn tootin' we will.
Huh?
Listen, as a matter of fact, why don't we start tonight? We'll go to the Capri Lounge, have ourselves a couple of snorts, and who knows?
Huh? The two of us alone? In the Capri? Huh? Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what. Hey, I got a better idea, I think.
Yeah.
What if we cool it right tonight and wait for a better time and then do it when we both have time and then just kind of put it off for a couple of days? How would that be?
You know something? I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah? What?
Oh.
I thought I heard voices.
Well, George, have you met the maid at all, or?
No, I haven't. How do you do? I just stopped by for just a second to say that thanks to Mr. Mayor here for not having my home foreclosed on.
Hey, come on, don't do it.
George Shumway,
remember
how
Wanda?
nice to see you.
George
Well,
Shumway.
come on in, sit down. You know, the mayor and I always try to stay close to the citizens of Fernwood. That's why our doors are open day and night.
Yeah.
Right, honey?
Right.
Well, that's commendable. That's very Listen, I know you're doing. I won't. Yeah, I'm just. I won't.
Don't.
No.
Don't do it, George.
You go right ahead with. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Good night.
Hey, George, we got a date now, okay?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Lord, that's a good old country boy, you know that? Yeah. Gosh, I hope he didn't get the wrong idea here.
Who's there?
It's me, Sugar Plum.
Daddy.
Hi, Kathy.
Well, what a surprise. It's so late.
I know.
Is there something wrong?
Oh, everything's wrong, Kathy.
What do you mean?
You going to invite me in?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Come on in, Dad.
So, this is your new apartment, huh?
Uh-huh.
Listen, Kathy, I'm sorry for not coming by to see you sooner. I was a little angry that you moved out, but I'm not in a position to hold a grudge.
What do you mean? What's the matter?
Oh, everything's the matter, Kathy. Your mother's never home. Your grandpa's worse than useless. Big party tonight. I'm not invited.
Oh, gee, Daddy, I'm so sorry.
You know, it just seems that you're the only one in the whole world that cares about me anymore. Of course, you know how I feel about you. I always thought you were precious, Kathy. You... Is that what I think it is?
Daddy, look, it's okay. I mean, he's living here. Daddy, look, it's not what you think.
It really isn't. We're only living together.
And that's all.
Oh, you animal. You're living with my baby?
Daddy, Daddy,
wait.
Daddy, wait 1 second, Daddy. Look, it's been a long time since I've been your baby, and I've had a lot of relationships, and a lot more meaningful relationships than what I'm having with Howie. Remember the French fries boys that I was madly in love with at McDonald's when I was 14
Oh,
years
I don't
old?
want to hear about that, Kathy. I don't want to hear about it.
But Daddy, if you love your little girl, then you would want to know who she is.
No, not if I don't want to. Now listen, I've got enough trouble as it is. I always loved you for what you are, and you are what I thought you are. Oh, gee.
You folks have tremendous spirit. I only wish there were more people like you in America. Well, did more people like you and only like you and like me. But I guess there'll always be people who'll bring shame on this great country of ours. Right?
Right.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah.
What do you mean, like the early settlers?
Settlers?
Yeah, the Indians. I mean, aren't we the ones that where we took their land and like sold it, cheated them out of a lot of money and stuff like that?
Well, but the Indians were savages. The settlers were moral people who read the Bible.
This is so much more fun than a high school sorority. Of course, I was never invited to a high school sorority, but I just know that this is much more fun than a high school sorority. It was awful, and it is awful not to be invited to a high school sorority.
Well, Mary, the fun is just beginning. Pass them out, Tex. Pass out the road.
All right, I got them right here, man. I went out and ordered them myself. Now, how do you like that?
That looks like a moo-moo.
You idiot, that's a moo-moo.
Well, it's the only thing I could find. One size fits all.
I love moo-moos, especially on girls.
Me too.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're terrific, yeah.
Look, Mary.
Let's see here, yeah.
Hey, let me put it
Supposed
on.
to step in it like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, you step in.
it
No?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Okay.
Zipper go in the front or in the back.
Well, I thought I saw a label in it.
Good, there.
So how do I look?
I think it looks good on you.
Yeah, you look just a
I
little
guess.
teensy bit heavy, but other than that.
Heavy? Oh, so should I take it off?
No, Mary, you look cute heavy.
Cute heavy?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the moo-moo will be the official robe of the glorious guardians of good.
We all get to wear me.
Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's all right, I'll take this.
Good, man.
You know, it may just work out. People who put on a moo-moo can probably be talked into anything. Who's got the moo-moos?
Glorious Guardians is good.
Who are the only people in Fernwood who have moo-moos?
Glorious Guardians good.
Who always puts the moo-moos on when they get together? The glorious guardians of good.
I will.
Glorious guardians of good.
Daddy!
I'm just going to say one thing, and then I'm going to go. Maybe you don't think I have any feelings or sensitivities, but I always thought that we were family and friends. You know, I think it's just one hell of a thing for you to have a big costume party and not invite me.
Oh, Daddy, you weren't invited? He wasn't invited?
No, George, old buddy, you got it all wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're invited now.
No, your daughter's right. We want you in the club. Isn't that right, folks? We want George in the glorious.
All right.
And the glorious guardians are good?
You're one of us now. Tex, give this man a moo-moo.
Hey, you got it. One moo-moo coming up for good old George.
So there we have it, a completely George-centric episode. George is in every scene, and apparently we are getting to know his point of view, which contains at least a little homophobia, though he's not alone in that. We start with Grandpa and Barbie, who are just doing a little partner dancing and having a lovey-dovey time, and George just feels lonely. He goes to the Capri Lounge where Martha is working, and she is busy. She serves him a ready-made martini that it doesn't taste very good, and then a customer comes asking for an end of the world. I don't know what that is, but it's a big drink. And we witness Martha actually stealing that man's lighter, which looked like a Zippo, not just one of those like cheap lighters. And then Martha does everything that she can to cover it up. While I occasionally find George to be an unpleasant person, I'm sad that he's lonely. And then we see the Jeters for a moment with Lila, and Lila is completely out of her gourd when it comes to the boundaries she has set for the Jeters. She wants them to be 5 fists apart when they sleep? That's unreasonable. And then she works her way into their bed and says only one of you will stay, which is also unreasonable. So Merl ends up sleeping on the couch, and George comes to visit him. And yeah, I couldn't remember in my mind when they might have met in the past. George reminded us that it had to do with saving their home. But really, there's nothing in common between these two men. And Merl kind of spins it a bit and like makes things friendly like. And maybe there's a little bit of amity between the two at the end, but they're definitely not going to hang out. And then George ends up over at Howie and Kathy's apartment, and he has a predictable reaction to finding Howie there. It was Howie's apartment first, so I saw that hammer and it made me just a little bit worried. George has been uncomfortable everywhere he has been, and he just goes over to crash the party at Mary's house, and we see what it is. It's the GGG, and again they're hiding their agenda. Mary says something that runs counter to the way a white supremacist would see things, and that is that the settlers were shameful for colonizing the land of the indigenous people. Vernon lets it go because he wants more members, but definitely that's not in line with their agenda. I was tickled to see that they had traded their robes for not Evel Knievel outfits, but muumuus. It shows me that this show intends to mock the GGG, or the real-life organization that the GGG was intended to lampoon. That this inclusion is a mockery of that organization, because, hey, the membership are proud to wear their muumuus, and nothing against muumuus. I'm sure they're very comfortable. And George shows up, and he is sad. What we saw a couple of days ago was that George was being excluded from the group so that he would be excited to join. And that's what appears to happen. He even takes a muumuu, though he doesn't put it on. That's where we end the episode. It looks like everyone is excited to be in the GGG, and no one except for Tex and Vernon knows their agenda. So I expect we will have to see where this goes, because it's pretty scary. Even in muumuus, they're scary. I mean, just a few years ago, we had people in Hawaiian shirts running around. They were scary to me. And everyone, that was our Wednesday episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you so much for watching with me. Thank you for leaving your kind, warm, and thoughtful feelings in the comments. Thank you for appreciating some art with me. And we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.